disability question, 502-276-2118. We want to take your calls. We do have another email here. We've been saving him up for Carl after he was out running in the marathon. But Casey in Louisville has a question for Carl. Julie?
Carl needs to change his ways. What is wrong in limiting awards to people involved in accidents or wrongful death lawsuits? I understand if it's a rare or freak case to open up the cash register against a truly negligent company, but far too often people file a lawsuit because they think they're owed something, and that is wrong.
All right, Casey, we appreciate your email. And I guess it's an emotional debate going on with tort reform in Washington.
Well, what I would ask of Casey is that is she willing to do that for her child or her parent or her husband? And that if, for example, a medical mistake or any type of negligence claim, if it's, because everybody wants to think, well, it's not going to happen to me. I would have done something differently. I would have gotten a second opinion. So my question to Casey is, are you willing to say your child's life is only worth X number of dollars, no matter what happens to them? If they have to have, if a doctor or some tragic event happens, that it's clearly someone else's responsibility or neglect, and your child has to have nursing care for the rest of their life. Are you willing to say that my child's life is only worth X number of dollars?
Yeah.
And doctor, no matter what you do, no matter how bad or how egregious it is, you are not responsible for my child.
Right.
It's amazing. There is a lot of tort reform being talked about in Washington right now. And another health care bill up there, it looks like it may or may not go through. If some type of health care comes up, is this going to throw everything off whack? Health care and maybe proper care of procedures?
And I was just doing some research on this just recently about the total health care costs, and I didn't bring the notes to be able to quote those exact numbers to you, but basically the studies have shown that malpractice, the cost of medical malpractice contributes about 1.5% to total health care costs. 1.5%.
I would have guessed more than that.
No, about 1.5% is what medical malpractice claims contribute to our total health care costs.
Well, the thing
so it's a red herring. It's a smoke screen for people who have an agenda that want to push that through.
Well, I think if this is my thought, if you're supposed to operate on the right leg and they operate on the left leg, or they're supposed to take the right kidney out, it's the left kidney, or a sponge is left in, or I know you said staph infections are the norm now, but if there's something really bad and you have extended stay or you have to go back, to me, that's taking you away from work. There's some emotional problems there. I mean, you can suffer.
And to say that people file frivolous lawsuits just to get a quick buck, that doesn't happen in my experience. I mean, and especially when we talk about medical malpractice. I mean, I was just reading some jury verdict research numbers from 2008. I don't have the 2009 numbers yet, but plaintiffs only won in court about 19% of the time. So that means literally every time out of 100 cases that go to court in the state of Kentucky for medical malpractice, the jury finds for the doctor 80% of the time.
Right.
So those cases are very expensive, very time consuming. So an attorney is not going to take that case and invest thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours of time for a 20% chance of winning in trial, unless you really feel that you have a very good, legitimate claim.
Yeah.
We have phone calls coming in right now, 502-276-2118. You're with attorney Karl Truman of the Karl Truman Law Office. And right now on the phone, we have Thomas from Louisville. Good morning, Thomas.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, what's your question?
Well, my question is, I was in an accident. And the police came after the accident and took the report. And they were supposed to take witness information. And I'm just wondering, when the police don't do that, they didn't put the witness information in the report like they said they would. But yet they still claiming the fault was on the other person in the police report. And then my insurance company is telling me that that's not good enough because somebody, so-called, the people said that they had a witness. So I'm just wondering, why, because I went to the hospital, that's the reason why I couldn't get the information. And I'm just wondering if they telling me basically that they can just stay out with him and they they don't have to give me more information about like who the witnesses was or whatever.
All right, Thomas, I think
Thank
he's
you,
talking about
Thomas.
some witness testimony
Right.
there,
And he
either
didn't
on the
answer.
scene or maybe in the official report. Maybe you can clarify
And
that.
it is important to get witness information, because memories fade and people after the fact then dispute about what really happened. And the police try to do a good job, but and sometimes they can't always get all the information. But it is important, and hopefully the investigating officer will list the witness information on the accident report. So that's very helpful, especially if there's any dispute. But if it's a fairly minor crash and there's really no dispute between the story of the parties, then the police officer may not see a need to put down other witness information. Of course, the more serious the crash, the more important that becomes, and they do take their responsibility very seriously, whether it's photographs, because they can't take photographs in every accident scene, but certainly the more serious it is, the more likely they are to take photos and to do that extra step, versus something that may be more minor.
Okay.
Thomas, we appreciate your call this morning. We have more calls, Julie.
We do. We have Donna from New Albany on the line. Donna?
Hello.
Hi, Donna. Go ahead with your question for Carl.
Yes, Carl. Hello. Nice to see you again. My daughter is 15, who is now starting to drive, and I was talking to the insurance company, and they said I don't need to get insurance on her, that it's covered through the state or whoever it is. My question is, what if she goes out and gets into an accident, and how is that going to affect me?
Well, and that's a very important question, because, and I don't know what somebody would be telling you that you don't have to have insurance on them, because that's not true. And especially if you signed for her to get her driver's license, for a minor child, when they get their driver's license, a parent or somebody has to sign what's called financial responsibility statement, stating that you are personally financially responsible for them being in a collision. So if she gets out in a collision, and I've seen this happen before, where a teenage driver hurt someone very severely, and the person has just minimum policy limits, well, that parent that signed for that driver's license is personally responsible. So you could be personally on the hook for whatever the insurance doesn't cover.
Just
so
like a cosigner.
You have to sign saying you are personally responsible for all those
And a
damages.
lot of parents will pay for their kids' car insurance until the children or the teen gets out on their own, and that may be coming into play here. But Carl always says, make sure you have enough insurance. So you need to
Right.
talk to your agent. And if you have any questions, feel free to call Carl's office, and he'll help you out with the appropriate limits. We have more calls.
We have another caller on the line. We have Keisha in Louisville. Keisha?
Hi, yes, how are you?
Good. Good morning. Go ahead with your question.
I had broken my neck and my back in 2008, and I was trying to seek for disability because I have constant pains and things like that. Cold weather causes me to have very serious pains, but I was denied by Social Security. I don't know of any other way to try to seek some help, because it's been hard for me trying to go back into the job that I had
Right.
due to the accident.
Well, was
Thank
this
you,
a
Keisha.
car accident, or did you?
Yes.
Car accident, okay.
Okay. And was there somebody else at fault that you're making a claim against?
No. The lady she kept going. It was like a hit and run.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, of course, if it's hit and run, you need to look and see if you have what's called uninsured motorist coverage. That may help provide some compensation for you, even with a hit and run accident.
Okay, I was compensated for that. It was out of court, but I haven't been able to find a job since the incident due to my back and neck.
Well, to be eligible for Social Security, and Social Security does deny over 80% of them, until that require to go to a hearing. But for Social Security disability, you have to show that you cannot do any type of gainful employment for a period of 12 months or more. Well, the language they use, substantial gainful activity. So basically, you can't do any type of gainful employment, even if it is a sedentary sit-down job, anything like that. And they really don't factor in the fact that it's a bad economy and there's not a whole lot of jobs out there. What they're looking at is, can you physically do gainful work? And it does have to be medically documented. So you have to make sure you get to the doctor and document what's wrong with you to make the claim.
I know it's very complicated laws, and that's why
Yeah.
Carl is here every Tuesday.